Oh, they.
Hey, we know him.
Look at that handsome dude.
We know this guy.
Well, it's big enough for the wrong camera. But good morning. How's everybody doing?
What can we do? And there we go. There's the intro, and it is Wednesday, and we are jam-packed with tons of information, lots of love. We've got Make Your Mark with, is it Sitemark, James? Do I always get that wrong?
It's Make Your Mark with Sitemark.
Okay, I have it right then. Make Your Mark with Sitemark. I love that. And of course, so we've got James Sellers joining us. We always talk either product that may be out there, what good hunting places may be. We had a great show with you out live with, what was that gentleman's name? You guys were out doing a hunt.
You're talking about Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fantastic to have him on the show.
Yeah, that was cool though. And so James always brings us cool stuff. Next time we're going to talk Second Amendment constitutional carry and how that looks in Texas, right, James?
Yes, I think that's good. Pretty timely. There's a lot of questions circulating about that.
There are,
and,
yeah.
We'll be looking forward to have that conversation.
Yeah, so, but there's some new product out there that might make it easier for the outdoorsman and the gun enthusiast. What you got going on out there?
Well, as you know, Sitemark creates some of the best night vision digital products in the marketplace, really help people get out and hunt at night. And we came out with a Wraith a couple of years ago. It's probably I think it is the #1 selling digital rifle scope in the world. And we just have introduced the Sitemark Wraith 4K Max. So it has the 4K resolution that everybody is wanting. It's an ultra high def digital device. Lets you see and detect objects 300 yards away at night, and you can record. So this is a game changer, really, for the hog hunting community in Texas for folks that are kind of new to this sport, or people that are really wanting something with a lot of features that won't break the bank.
So, James, let me ask you a question. So, in the hog hunting world, right? Let's say you're just a regular old farmer like me, right? I've got a 34-acre farm up in Aubrey, Texas, and I definitely have hog tracks that track along some of my fence line, and some of these little buggers have dug and pushed my fence up and have gone into the field.
I mean,
and
you've
can
got
see
like
them.
at least 6 or 7 of them, don't you?
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
you've seen a whole little.
Yeah, and they're
Google.
grubbing.
What are they? A swarm?
Yeah,
What are
something.
pigs?
A swarm of pigs.
A gaggle?
No, that's
No,
geese.
I'm teasing.
Kathy. Oh.
I'm teasing Farmer
So,
JP.
James, I mean, what would that be something good for somebody like myself, or maybe like a friend of mine, Kelly Parker, likes to sport hunt and would come out to my property and help?
Yeah, actually, I would say that the Wraith series, regardless of what part of the which specific model you're going with, but the Wraith was really designed for the hog hunter or the farmer or rancher or recreational shooter, that wanted to get something out there and be productive or successful with it. Probably 90+% of all the successful hunting at night occurs less than 100 yards. And, so you don't have to have, I mean, obviously we sell very expensive premium thermal products as well, but you don't have to have thermal to go out and protect your property and to take the hogs that are ruining your crops, ruining your land. The whole purpose behind the Wraith really was to come up with a product that people like yourself that had, a ranch or a farm, and you got the hogs that come in and they'll do thousands and thousands of dollars of damage to your ranch and farmland. And you need to control that population. There are hog populations out of control. And, the price on, the Wraith is less than $1,000. We have I'm trying to think what the actual I think the entry level model is around $600, which isn't that different than a quality daytime rifle scope. So for the same price, you're able to shoot day or night. You have full, full color recording during the day. You have programmable reticles. So if you want mil dot or duplex or whatever type of reticle you want, you have that all in one scope. So in some ways, the Wraith, the scope is designed to replace all rifle scopes. It's going to have the same ability to shoot and be successful hunting, but then you have day and nighttime use. You have recording capability, program reticles, just a whole bunch of things that you can't do in a traditional rifle scope. So that's a very exciting product, and the 4K allows people to get that 4K image quality that you want. That way you can watch your 4K TV at home, see how your land and how your hunt went.
And by the way, a group of pigs is called a sounder. A group of wild pigs is called a sounder, or bacon.
Bacon, that's funny. It better be braised properly. So, James, quick question. So you're saying that this scope actually records what it's looking at as well?
It does.
So that's a great advantage. That's way cool.
Yeah. When the Wraith first came out, it really became super popular, and people I don't think knew that the technology was at that point, nor they knew that it was so readily accessible. What I think is kind of exciting is I think we're in the beginning stages of a major transformation in optics where, we are all used to this high speed technological transformation in our phones. Every year we expect Apple or Samsung, whoever, to come out with a new phone that just has the next feature, more power, better quality camera, and all this stuff. So we are able to bring that kind of new technology into rifle scopes, and we have a whole dedicated team of engineers and designers who are coming up with new features, new functions using the latest technology. So it's a really exciting time to be a hunter and a shooter.
So how does the recording work? Does it go onto is it Wi-Fi or download at your home into a hard drive on the Wraith, or is it onto a card?
Yeah. Let me see on the 4K. I don't want to misspeak on this one. I have the information right here. On the other one, it goes to SD card, and then you can hook that up to your computer and download it. I think it's the same, but I hate when somebody asks me a question I don't know. Would rather give you the right information.
Sorry about that, James.
Yeah. Okay. It has a micro memory card, just like the previous model. So that allows you to record, on board, and then you can take that out, or you can connect it to your computer.
So do you see these things going Wi-Fi, Bluetooth capability with GPS on them?
They are, and we do have the capability to do a lot of that. That depends on, again, the specific model. Some of the customers, and I think that our Second Amendment friends, we also don't like all the things that come with our Facebook and our iPhones, all the monitoring and information that people are gathering. So we have a lot of folks that actually prefer not to have it fully connected to the internet and downloading their GPS location. So there are options for people that want those functions, and there's options for people that don't want to have it connected to the internet at all times. So, if that's something somebody's looking for, we can direct them in a direction that has that. Or if they don't, we can make that happen as well.
So I'm out in the hog hunt. It's 2:00 in the morning, and here comes this sounder, and I've got my eyes on one, and I start picking one off, then I pick another off, and I'm like, woohoo! And I'm dancing. I get so excited though, I jump up to go grab my hog, and I knock my gun around, and it falls out of the back of the truck, or it falls out of my blind, and it falls on my Wraith. What's our durability factor?
This product is so rock solid, durable. It'd have to be like, we do drop tests and stuff. This thing's durable. So I would be surprised that a huge hog, no matter if it's pressing up against the ground, concrete or rocks could damage the product. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. This thing is made so solid. Yeah, I don't think that would break it at all.
What about calibration? Do you have to recalibrate it at any point in time, James?
That's a good question. So you do have to zero it in, and it's actually fairly simple to do. But you do have to zero it in, and every time you switch between rifles, the device, like any optic, you need to re-zero it. We also make a product for that, John. It's called a bore sight, which is really awesome because you can have a. Are you familiar with laser bore sights?
Just a wee bit.
Okay, so basically, for the folks that haven't used one, it's basically a laser that is put inside a bullet or something that looks like a shell, a casing, and the laser goes out the barrel, and that allows you to take whatever device you're using, whether it's another laser, a red dot, a rifle scope, or a night scope, and you can adjust the crosshairs to match the point of impact of that laser coming out of the barrel. Then you take you take the bore sight out of the chamber, you chamber in a round, and it should be theoretically zeroed. Now, every bullet has got different characteristics. Every mount, every rifle's got some specific things with it. So if you do that, that's probably the best and fastest way to sight in your sights and switch between rifles. So that'd be my recommendation. But yep, you do have to calibrate it in when you have a new, until you put on a new gun. But it's super easy to use, and we make that super easy step by step.
So, James, tell everybody who you are and why did you know about this stuff?
Yeah, my name's James Sellers. I'm the founder of a company called Sitemark and founder of Sitemark. We basically created the company because we love the outdoors and we want people to experience nature, and hunting and shooting are great American traditions, and be a part of that. And as our involvement in the industry has gotten deeper and stronger, our commitment to Second Amendment has never been stronger. We think everybody deserves to feel safe and secure and protect their family. So there's a lot of things coming out in the news, about that, like Texas's constitutional carry. But anyway, we're really supporting, hardworking, individualistic Americans that want to go out and do the hunting, shooting sports, and we're here to make sure that they have the best quality products and optics, and that they're always making their marks. So that's really what we're here to do.
All right, there you go. Well, James, look forward to next month and you're going to be able to do it, right? I know you're traveling, but you're going to be able to still do next month, right?
Yeah, next month I may do let's check this really quickly. Next month I may be doing this remotely. Let's see here.
We would love for you to be doing it remotely from Europe.
Yeah, let's see.
His company in Europe with his partner.
Yeah, trying to see what date. Oh, I'm actually just back from Europe at that point, so that'll be my first day back. So
good.
Unfortunately, I'll still be in Texas. Or fortunately, I'll be back in Texas because.
But you'll be on European time.
If you guys are like me, sometimes you want to get up and go and see something new, and then you go, man, Texas is just such an awesome place. I just can't wait to get back home.
Right. Right.
Amen.
So I will talk to you guys back from my offices in Texas. So I can't wait.
Awesome.
Right. Well, there
Thanks
you go.
so much. Be
safe. Hey, constitutional carry.
Yep.
Don't forget.
Big show.
All right, we'll be
Big
ready.
show.
All right, be ready,
we
Texas.
appreciate you. Stay safe.
Take care.
Take care.
All right, thank you guys.
All right.
Always good stuff.
Always
learn
good stuff.
something new. Always learn something cool. All the gadgets.
Yeah,
you
love
just
all
got
that. Well, he's got great gadgets. So Judy Mark is watching us from the Tennessee Hills today.
Love it.
And Eric Verdugo is watching us from his dental chair as he gets ready to get a new crown.
And good times.
And then there's that.
And we wish you the best on that.
We're going to invite Larry to follow Nathaniel. Come on down, Larry. We've got Larry. Do we have Jana Howser on with us yet this morning? Nathaniel. As Nathaniel checks the technology, I have a feeling Jana's with us this morning already.
She should be.
I haven't gotten to talk to her. I mean, this is our first visit during the pandemic outside of typing to each other.
That's right, because we didn't get to have her on last year. Yeah. That's right.
Not yet. Okay. All right. So we'll have her on here in a minute. She's excited, she said. She already sent me a message. And so we've got Larry Wallace joining us. And, of course, the importance of Larry Wallace is that he's a pretty awesome dude. and he's going to share with
He
us.
rocks and rolls and whatnot.
He does, and he's going to share with us his brother, and I'm pretty excited about that. We got to start this relationship, 3 years ago now, Larry? 4 years ago?
Actually, he met you out in Lubbock.
Well,
years ago before that.
That's right.
This relationship, yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Good to have you in the new studio.
Yeah, so to meet Larry I'm at a JP education conference.
Right.
Getting my 20 hours of education in at the only really nice hotel in Lubbock. Not that some of them aren't okay.
Careful,
Do you want to name that hotel? Maybe not, to protect the innocent.
No, it's a little older now,
Yeah.
though. But still the biggest conference center for a hotel, I think.
In that area?
In Lubbock.
Yeah.
And so they could house all the JPs that needed re-education. And it was interesting because it was a National College Baseball Hall of Fame, right?
Right.
Was in for their banquet. And I'm walking around, and of course I'm on the radio, and I'm like, hey, I said, what's going on over here? And they're like, oh, it's the da-da-da. I'm like, well, let me go get my press credentials. And got to come down and cover that and met Larry and talked to, I think your wife was there with you as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Wife and daughter, yep.
Yeah, and so it was a nice time. And oh my goodness, there she is. Jana, good morning.
We have all our baseball people on.
Is there any way, and you could probably say no, that we can turn Jana around where she can see us by any chance? All right, we're going to give him a second, Jen, and then you'll be able to actually see us.
Sure.
So across from me, we've got Larry with us. So Larry Wallace is with us, Jana.
Hi, Jana.
Hi, Larry. Good morning. Good morning, all. Is my volume okay?
Yes.
Let me just ask you. It is. Okay.
You sound fantastic.
You sound fantastic. So in talking last night with Jana, I found out that her sister is doing a ton of cool stuff in equestrian.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll be having her and her sister back on.
Talking about horses.
We will indeed.
We love it.
But we're talking about baseball today. And again, love the fact that we are joined with Larry Wallace in studio and Jenna Howser. You're joining. Now, Jenna, are you out of Kansas City?
I am in Wichita, Kansas.
Wichita, Kansas. Okay. So I knew you were around about there. I just couldn't remember exactly where you were out there. But so she's joining us today from Wichita, Kansas. And of course, the importance of that is we have coming up, as we do annually, the Dick Howser Award and the Brooks Wallace Award that will be given out to some deserving young baseball player in the college ranks.
Correct.
How exciting is that?
It's good stuff.
And Coach Quigley, of course, keeps me completely updated 24/7 on
and
when
thank
things
you
are
to
happening.
one of our best producers,
Yeah,
Coach Tommy Quigley. He rocks.
So we're going to start with you, Janet. I mean, tell us what it means to be the recipient of a Dick Howser Award. How do you fill those shoes? Who was Dick Howser?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you so very much for having me on. I've looked so forward to this. The award recognizes overall leadership and teamwork. There are 4 cornerstones of the award that the winner each year personifies of those: teamwork, leadership, performance, and character. Over the years, this is the 34th awarding this year. It would have otherwise been 35 last year. There just weren't enough stats, so it was moved forward to this year. But over time, it's come to embody in the winner characteristics in a student athlete, a Division I student athlete, that literally it improves his entire team by his presence and his play and his actions as a teammate and as a student at the university. Largely, these people have gone on, in many cases, to be team leaders in their professional baseball MLB programs that they're involved in, or teams. And what coaches would say is that these are the ones that have helped others come along with their academic performance, but largely in their baseball setting, they raise the level of their entire team. And I think that's embodied year in and year out. And by the list of semifinalists this year, I would say that there are 33 schools represented in 13 conferences around the country.
Wow.
And one of the most special moments of the year, far and away for me, is the call when we make that news private to the head coach, which is the first call. And that time is coming soon, and I'm just very, very excited about it. But the key also is this: I think that coaches, largely, I think Larry would agree to this too, have embraced what these awards mean, and their excitement for what is happening. And of course, if a player is still playing towards a national championship, it's at their discretion, head coach's discretion, when the player is informed. But it's something that they help to promote within their school, within their conference, nationally, in conjunction with things that we do with the NCAA to promote these high levels of performance. My dad's entire life trajectory was changed by a walk-on tryout at Florida State University, his alma mater. And that changed the course of his entire life. And it was something that he always loved. And I believe that back to the head coaches and what they help impart to the player who is the recipient is that it's an incredibly wonderful honor for them, because they are embarking at exactly that time as they move into their adult lifetime post-college. So it's just an exciting time. I'll stop there.
Well, that is exciting. And you know what else is exciting, Larry, is we've got the Brooks Wallace Award, which is really here in our backyard. Mm-hmm. I mean, Brooks went to Plano Senior High.
Right.
I have now run into more people that tell me, oh, man, if there was an athlete in school, it was Brooks. And I'm like, really? And they're like, and I didn't even give them the cue, right? I didn't say, oh, what do you think of Brooks Wallace? And I'm like, hey, who was one of the top athletes you guys had at Plano Senior High during that time frame? Yeah. And it was Brooks Wallace. Tell us about that. Tell us the embodiment of the Brooks Wallace Award and what that means, because he made such an impact locally and nationally and regionally in Texas with baseball.
Right, yeah. Well, like you said, he was a very good athlete. He was actually an all-conference or an all Greater Dallas Fort Worth wide receiver in football, and played basketball as well. And a lot of people said that he actually quit his best sport, which was basketball, to concentrate on baseball, his senior year. But the award, mostly like Jana said, it was started in 2004, and 4 guys sitting around a table at a cafe, and I think they still have the little napkin that they start jotting things down on. They're saying, we need to come up with there's not a college baseball Hall of Fame. We need to do something about this. So anyway, when they were coming up with this idea, they thought, we need our own award. So when they started thinking about, who could it be after, I mean, there was, they could have named it after, any number of famous, ball players or, but they chose Brooks, which obviously not as well known, and but that kind of makes it even that much more special to have it named after him when they could have named it after just about anybody. So we are also in we're down to our finalists. We've got 6 finalists, and the cool thing right now for me is I get to actually call all of the coaches, like Jana was talking about. I call the coaches and the players as well during this time, just to kind of get a feel for who these guys are off the field. We know everything about them on the field. Tom, you're a producer, assistant producer.
Yes. Oh, no, he would be an executive producer. Don't say assistant when it comes to coach.
Sorry, Tom. But, we follow all these 319 shortstops, the whole entire year and run the stats. But we don't know anything about them off the field. And that's, I think, what more so, embodies the award was the late Cal Seager said Brooks was a very good player, but he was a much better person. So that's what I like to try to know something about these kids off the field, and that's why we talk to the coaches and talk to the players themselves, and I think that kind of sets our award apart a little bit, and just being able to do that. And the coaches, boy, I tell you what, coaches, they just can't say enough about all these kids. You could probably just tape one coach and the next coach, they all say the same thing. It's just like listening to a repeat of the other coach, but they just can't say enough about these kids. And
that's so awesome. That's so great. Yeah.
So, Janet, talk to me about your dad's legacy in college baseball and how that progressed to where he ended up in the major leagues and, I mean, winning a World Series, for goodness sakes. Can you hear me okay, Jana?
It's a little bit muffled, JP. I'm trying to. That's why I'm adjusting my volume.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me be. I probably am so excited. I'm over here drooling or something because we're talking baseball.
He's fanboying out.
Yeah,
Surprise.
So your dad's legacy in college baseball, and what that means to a lot of the young managers and players as he went through the college baseball ranks, as any part of it really, and then his ascension to Major League Baseball and what that meant to the professional players when he left college. But he never really left college baseball. But what I mean is became a manager at the level of the Kansas City Royals.
Okay, sure. Well, back to so my dad was a very talented high school player in the state of Florida. He did not, though, at Palm Beach High School, that's his alma mater. He was not recruited for college baseball, so he decided to try a walk-on, go out as a walk-on at Florida State University. A little story about that along as we're moving along here. He and actor Burt Reynolds were friends since very early childhood. They went to elementary school and high school together, and as some may know, Burt Reynolds was a quarterback at Florida State. While he was headed to Florida State, that was part of why my dad decided to go to the same school. They wanted to stay together. So he was a walk-on tryout. He earned a spot on the team. He coincidentally was a 3-year teammate of Lee Corso, who was also one of my dad's dear, dear friends and such an extraordinary, wonderful, and hilarious man. But that walk-on tryout opened a door for my dad that I think a lot of people understand the meaningful nature of scholarship, because that was his only access to higher education. But ultimately, he played for 4 years, and at that time, freshmen weren't allowed to play, right? So they were more like a practice squad. But over his sophomore, junior, and senior year, he was once and then a 2-time first-team All-American. The significance of that in the state of Florida at the time, which was in the mid-1950s, is that there had never been an All-American from any college or university from the state of Florida. Wow. And so that then, of course, got the attention. He was signed. There was no draft at that time. He was signed by the Kansas City A's, spent about 1.5 years in the minor league system, and then came up to the Kansas City Athletics. I mentioned that because that was so significant to him. And then his playing career continued at the pro level for 8 years, ultimately as a player with the New York Yankees, where he then became the third base coach for a number of years. That was also during the time with Reggie Jackson and all that was happening with Billy Martin, who he and my father had a wonderful relationship, 2 very different personalities.
Yeah, very different.
About the team, they worked well together, and I know that all the way through as a player, and then as I was old enough while he was third base coaching for a number of years, and ultimately managing the Yankees, felt like the most fortunate human being on the planet to have an opportunity that he did. His legacy that way is that people to this day say your dad was kind and patient and wonderful and self-deprecating with everybody. He just was a friendly man that happened to be astute in baseball. So the career concludes with the Yankees, and ironically, as manager, they win 100. This is 1980. They win 103 games, and they lose, ironically, in the playoffs to the Kansas City Royals. Soon thereafter, he was, and there's a moment in time where some people may recall that he was fired after winning 103 games.
Yes.
And the Royals called him not long after and asked him to come back to the city of where he had started his pro ball approximately 20 years later, to begin managing then Kansas City Royals. The A's, of course, had moved to California out to Oakland. And that was the beginning of a ramping up time for the Kansas City Royals. That culmination for him was for the team was 1985 when they won the World Series. And I just distinctly remember always when we were together that he just always felt so fortunate. He loved the game, and I believe that it was all about their lives and the relationships that he had. And players to this day played for my dad, whether it be in Kansas City or New York, that he met people where they were and inspired them. And I believe that this is also the spirit of the award, to continue to optimize who they are as people, both on the field and otherwise. And I think that's the impression that he made. I think that is the spirit of what the coaches at the college level, winners of the Howser Trophy, in part, as Larry said, they can't say enough about how much these people are selfless and about their team. So ultimately, after winning that back to the Kansas City Royals, what he means to that city, they've done some wonderful recognition. The team has, and ownership has, with my dad, and those are wonderful relationships still. But I would say this, my dad used to always say to both my sister Jill and I growing up, you know, there are so many people in sports that are doing so many wonderful things for the world around them. And that's my frame of reference. I think it's so important to note that as well. After winning the World Series, not long after that, the following year, he became ill and then soon after passed away. And it was that year then following in 1978 that the Dick Howser Trophy was created to honor the nation's top Division I player in the nation. And that's how we arrive at now. But the spirit of it, as Larry said too, the honor in calling a coach, them knowing, and in many cases, some of these coaches knew my dad. They watched him as a player when they were growing up as baseball players. It's just extraordinary, the things that we get to learn along the way. And so that's where we are. I will say tomorrow morning, we will get ready for the announcement of who the national finalists are. And again, thank goodness we all had a full season this year to be able to move about an award, a recipient. But boy, there have been some incredible performances around the country, and we just can't wait to make that announcement.
And then
That's
ultimately,
fantastic.
where will the announcement be made for the winner of the Dick Howser Trophy?
Thank you. Yes. Okay. First of all, the awards website is dickhousertrophy.org. Okay. The announcement of the winner, and there's a listing on the page, will be a week from Friday, announced live exact time slot during that television show. So MLB Network Television will also be streamed. And the coach and the winner will both be a part of that. So people would be so kind as to check back on the website. I'll have an official time, I believe, tomorrow morning, and as soon as I have that, it'll be announced on the website. But we think it's sometime between the 10 in the morning to 1 p.m. Central Time next Friday, which is June 18th. That's an anomaly based on the NCAA's COVID policies with people that are in the building. We, in each year, announce live at the stadium in Omaha, based on protocols at hand. We are doing that remotely, but the winner will be trophies in hand, and we'll proceed that way. So, and we do expect to resume that way next year, back at the stadium.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping so too.
It's good stuff.
And fantastic. Jana, I cannot thank you enough for joining us and sharing your dad with us and your memories with him. You know, if you had one memory as his daughter, what would be one of your favorite memories with Dad?
Oh, there are so many, but I'll tell you, one of the very most special is an image of his face in my mind when the 1985 Royals, that World Series went 7 games, and it was won in Kansas City. And where we were situated, I was able to see my dad very clearly. The look on his face when that happened, with him as the manager of that team, was something I get goosebumps thinking about it even now, is a look on his face and in his eyes that said everything about how much all of the game of baseball meant to him, including very, very much his dear, dear friends from the college game that he was friends with for life.
Oh, I love that.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. Yeah, you know, always tried to get a hold of George Brett to try to get an autograph. I could never chase him down. Always tried to. Oh, well. That's the way it goes. Well, Jana, I'm going to be in touch. I want to get you and your sister on, and I want to talk horses later on down the road.
Thank you. Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you all so much, Larry. I wish you the best too. I look forward to seeing you hopefully soon. And I know it's such an exciting time for you and your family. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you, Jana.
We
Take
appreciate
care.
you. God bless.
God bless. So, Larry,
You too.
let's take the same progression, right? Plano Senior High. Where was college baseball at for Brooks?
He played at Texas Tech for
That's
4
right.
years.
That's
Right. And he actually was on the team. I won't say took the team, but he was on the team that made the Southwest Conference, as it was called back then.
Right.
To the conference tournament for the first time in school history. So, and then after 4 years, he was drafted after his junior year, but decided to go back to school, and then was drafted again by the Texas Rangers, and played for them for 2.5 years before he decided to go back and to Tech and get his degree and started coaching there. So,
Well, and let's
that's
talk
where he-
about that. I want to talk about that progression because he had that pull back to college a lot. I mean, it wasn't
just
something
loved
that
it.
was
Yeah.
lightly
Yeah.
on his mind, right? And so,
Right.
what was that pull back to Texas Tech and to West Texas? What made him keep wanting to go back?
You know, people have always asked that question about everybody. What's the pull to Lubbock? and you've been to Lubbock before, and it just seems that everybody who lives there, for whatever reason they're there, they just love, Lubbock, and so. But he did love the environment there around the campus, and just being part of baseball, and being a part of the kids that wanted to learn the game of baseball. And he just he just wanted to teach and let what he knew become part of the kids that he was involved with.
Well, and he made a huge impact out in Lubbock, out at Texas Tech. I've seen pictures when I was in Lubbock for the banquet. I saw some pictures of Brooks and him out on the field, and it just seemed like that's where home was for him.
Right.
Not to say that Plano wasn't home, but
Right.
it just looked like that's where he was at home. And so that's
Correct.
pretty darn amazing. So
Yeah.
Coach Quigley, of course, has got a bunch of information he wants to ask. You
Okay.
know this, Larry, right?
Yeah.
You know you're in trouble, right?
You were expecting this.
He probably knows more about Brooks than I do. He got a different side of Brooks, being his friend and knowing him off the field and outside the home, and what I knew as a little brother. But yes, he's got a lot of.
So he says
information.
Texas high school all-star game after high school for Brooks at the Astrodome.
Mm-hmm.
What's Coach talking about?
He was just one of two shortstops that was on the All-Star team.
Oh, wow.
Which
That's
is what they
awesome.
still give out this, do at this time as well. And that was back at the Astrodome. So,
So
I
this-
think
so-
Tom actually drove down there for that.
So that means the
event as
entire
well.
state of Texas.
Correct.
All the baseball players in the state of
awesome.
Texas, and
Correct.
Brooks was one of two.
Correct.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
Did scholarship allow him to continue into baseball? Because Janet talked about that her dad would not have been able to go to FSU without scholarship.
Right.
So was Brooks a part of that as well?
Right. Brooks was recruited and chose Texas Tech, and he was recruited by quite a few places. Even got some, as I said, some offers for football as well. So, but he didn't want to do football. So, but yes, he was on scholarship out there, and fulfilled all 4 of his years out there. So, which is kind of unheard of these days. So,
When,
Right.
Yeah,
That's the
that was
truth.
back in the good old days. When everybody was loyal.
right.
So what I love about college baseball and Division I college baseball is that it always levels out the playing field. You're not going to be dominated by one school necessarily. Now you've got your giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got Fresno State University that sneaks in there. You've got Dallas Baptist University that's going to sneak in there and win a
This year.
championship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe this year.
Maybe
Yeah.
this year. You've got a Wichita State that's going to get in there and win a championship. You've
Right.
got Eastern Illinois. I'm like, I didn't know there was an Eastern Illinois University baseball team.
Right.
But you've got some players that are, or a player anyways, that has made a significant impact on college baseball and is up for a couple of awards, if I'm not mistaken,
Right.
from Eastern Illinois. Or am I
Right.
misstating
Yep.
that?
No, it's Trey Swinney from Eastern Illinois, and he's one of our finalists. And just like you said, it's not all, the Big 5 conferences that always get to Omaha. Kind of like football, it's always those big schools that eventually everybody else is weeded out. But yeah, we've got a kid from Tennessee, obviously, Eastern Illinois, Colin Burns from Tulane.
Oh,
So, yeah, small
wow,
school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brooks Lee, and that's kind of a funny story. I'll
There
get
you
into that.
go.
Brooks Lee from Cal Poly, and R.J. Yeager from Mercer, and then of course there's Cal Conley from Texas Tech. But ironically, the kid Brooks Lee from Cal Poly, I talked to him and his dad the other day because his dad is his coach, and his dad's name is Larry.
That is
Oh,
so
you're kidding
great.
me. Brooks and Larry.
I love it.
wow.
So I gave him props for actually coaching his own kid, which is difficult to do
Sure.
Anyway, and for his, as we know, sometimes kids don't want to listen to their dad. So what a great relationship they have to be able to do that on the collegiate level.
Well, and to bear those names, I think that should
That's
give
so
you like
great.
5 bonus points.
Just for
Yeah.
that,
Brooks
just love
Wallace.
the irony.
Yeah.
No, everything's fair.
Absolutely, I think so.
One of the things that Coach quickly said, I think this is so, and it just every time we see you in studio, it just makes me think of this. You do such a great job of continuing Brooks' legacy. That's I think that's the highest compliment somebody could pay you in a situation like this. And Coach always says that, and it's so true. You absolutely love what you do in honor of your brother.
Well, it's an easy thing to do. So, and for them to, name the award after him, that's why I said it means so much to my family and I, because he didn't have that legacy like Dick Howser, and he didn't have that career and being around baseball for that long of a time. And for him to, pass away in 1985, and for them to bring the award, enact the award and come up with it in 2004. I mean, that's 20 years later. So for them to, remember him from that long ago and think, this is the guy we want to name the award after is really something special.
That is, and congratulations on that.
Love that.
And again, I'm going to tell you every time, and I've talked now to, because we're going to do a show. I don't know if Coach is calling it the Old Timers of Plano or what he's calling it, but we're going to do a show where we bring back Coach Quigley's class, more or less, right? And we're going to have like a fireside chat about the old days of Plano and what it looked like around here, right?
So probably old timers isn't what they're wanting to be referred to as.
Well, no, that's what they call in baseball, the old timers game.
It's a joke.
Right? Remember, Joe
Coach is
DiMaggio
like,
played
I'm
the old
not
timers
old.
game.
Wait a second.
Well, Coach Quigley can correct me. I'm sure he would. But my point is that in talking with some of the folks that are from that era, the needle always comes back and points. Oh yeah, Brooks Wallace.
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Fill in the blanks there.
Well, his name will definitely in that conversation that we have when we start talking sports. I guarantee you that's one of the first names that comes up.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It
Quigley
is
said
what
he's
it
one of the
is.
best athletes that Plano
Yeah.
Senior High had ever seen.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, I mean, when he gave up basketball, people were like, wait,
What are you doing?
What? No, you can't do that, So that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I cannot thank you. And Coach Quigley says, we are old timers.
Oh,
Thank you,
I
Coach
stand
Quigley.
corrected, Coach. I love you.
Thank you, Coach Quigley. So tell us a little bit about some of the semi or the finalists that you have. And I don't know if you can talk about this. If you can't, just say I can't talk about this. What is one distinct trait of each of them that has kind of struck you?
Oh, good question.
Well, what we really kind of look for, and what they've, if you read the bio about the award, is honesty. Brooks is very humble.
Yes.
So that's what we kind of, and that's what I try to get. I always try to when I interview these kids, and even the coaches. Although the coaches always say the exact same thing about all their kids every
Sure.
year, but I mean they're speaking the truth, and they've known these kids for a number of years. But I always try to when I interview these kids, just look for that humble tone, whether that means, talking about other people and not themselves, but I always look for some kind of, usually every year there's one little nugget, and I can't tell you what that little nugget is.
But you know it.
I mean,
hear it?
not disclosure. I'm just saying, I just know it when I hear it, whether somebody talks about their faith or somebody talks about, somebody else. It can, a lot of different things that it can be, but I always just find that nugget and I've interviewed 4 of the kids, and I think I found that nugget already. But they're so close at this time of year with stats and all that. You can't hardly even pull them apart. That's why we interview them and see, because we've had some interviews that didn't go well and found out some things, or, I always kind of look for, a lot of these kids nowadays will call me Larry. I always look for that one. I always look for that guy that says Mr.
Wallace. Yep.
And that always kind of sticks with you. Just a little respect, not just for me, but just
for
their
your elders.
upbringing.
Yeah,
exactly. Because we were always taught it's ma'am and sir.
Oh,
and,
if you don't,
you don't use people's first names.
Yeah.
But not to say that that's wrong. That's the culture. These days.
But to have a kid who still adheres
so it's usually
to
just
that,
kind of one little nugget that
well,
gets dropped in my lap. I'm like, now that's way cool.
Yeah, and I was going to say, because at this point in the game, there has to be this continuity of statistics where they all look the same.
Right.
I mean, because they're all going to be amazing
right.
players at their position,
right?
Right? And so, yeah, I mean, it would have to be something. I don't want people to think, oh, well, I just randomly pick, their faith. I'm going to pick that. No.
Right.
Baseball-wise,
these kids are all
they're
in the same.
all they wouldn't make it to the finalists if they weren't.
I mean, you're talking
all
the
top
best
of,
of the best
right.
as far as statistics and things of that
So
nature.
then when you've got the baseball out of the way, then it is the character.
Exactly.
Who are you?
Yeah.
And that's who gets that's your winner right there. Not to say that all of them don't have good character.
Oh, no, exactly.
But it's that,
just something
it's what
special
makes
that stands out.
Well, what makes it that Brooks Wallace recipient.
Yeah.
So that's way cool.
Right. And they're not always the best shortstop. I mean, we've had, shortstops go in the first round. We've had, Trey Turner, Alex Bregman. Tom will attest to that, Houston Astro, Dansby Swanson. But then we've had some guys that have gone the 7th round, the 12th round. So they're not always necessarily like the, Player of the Year award, that's the best player out there. They're not always necessarily the best shortstop out there. It's just something that that kind of sets our award apart from all the others.
Well, Larry, I cannot thank you enough.
Yeah,
for
thank you.
us,
It's always so great to have you
being
out
a part
here.
of JP Cathy and the crew. We missed out last year.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
did.
missed
yeah.
you.
Yeah, we
We're
didn't
glad to have you
didn't even
back.
get to look up any stats.
No. I mean, so cannot thank you enough for joining us
Absolutely.
and
It's
being a
been a
part of
pleasure.
this. I'm hoping that Coach Quigley will invite you to the old timers round table, where maybe you could even input a little bit about Brooks and
There you go. I
what
can
it
do
was
that.
like, maybe what you remember from him coming home.
I'll be the youngest one of that group.
What,
Yeah,
you heard that, right, Coach?
Show.
That was for you, Coach.
And can I just say real quick, the award will be announced next Wednesday.
Oh,
Yes.
excellent.
And where will that announcement take place?
MLB.com will announce it.
Okay.
And it'll be on there. And then we are going to have a virtual show this year because we induct a Hall of Fame class every year.
Right.
And then also
That's
we give out the
awesome.
Pitcher of the Year award, the Skip Burtman award, the Pitcher of the Year award. So all of those awards and those Hall of Famers will be inducted on a virtual show hosted by MLB.com. And I'm not sure exactly when that is, but I can let you know that.
Please let us know and then shoot me over
we'll
the
let
link.
crew know.
Absolutely.
And then we'll put it out there.
Thank you.
on the
We
system.
appreciate you. It's great
Sure.
to have you in studio.
Good
as
seeing you
always,
again.
As always.
I
That's
appreciate it.
awesome. Good
Thanks
For
stuff.
having me.
Larry, thanks.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
And Coach says you're not old enough.
Maybe they could just bring you in for a segment.
There you go.
There you go. All right. That's Larry Wallace
so
with the
much.
Brooks Wallace
Thank you.
Award.
We appreciate you.
Now we've
Larry.
got Dr. Be Good, our own Ask Dr. Be Good.
Educational expert, all things education.
Hub advocate
and
and educational
and
expert.
I love she uses the word pedagogy. I love that. So there you go.
Pedagogy. Oh, Kathy.
What did I say?
You said pedagogy.
Oh goodness gracious! You know what I mean.
You said piggogy. There are no pigs in that goji.
No, that's a sounder.
So, Dr. Good, you are a
Sure.
fantastic sport for coming on later today. Thank you.
Well, I think that you guys can accommodate guests. I think it's the right thing to do. So
Thank you. We
appreciate
had a special edition today.
And baseball, sports, what you
and
love.
I warned her. But we did have Jana Howser on, the daughter of Dick Howser, who had such a storied career and was such a great man, always seen as a very empathetic man. And then Brooks Wallace, right here from Plano Senior High School, right here in Plano, Texas, and the great things he did in baseball as well. So we appreciate you, Dr. Be Good. Talking about appreciate you, Dr. Be Good, we're at the end of the school year, a pandemic year. Do you feel a sigh of relief across the Metroplex from other educators or superintendents across the state?
Well, yes, I certainly, and not all school districts are up, by the way. Today's our last day for kids, and Dallas ISD will be until the 19th of June. They got a really late start, so not everybody's out yet. I was at the 8th grade crossover last night at Mesquite Middle School, and it was just good to have that closure. We had kids, we literally had teachers meeting kids for the first time because they had been online all year.
Right.
It was a very special occasion. We'll have our senior graduation this Saturday, and that's going to be special also for, again, COVID has really tested the grit of our parents and our kids and our teachers.
Very, very much so for all of us. We do have, and I can't announce the name yet, I don't think, but we do have one of your students who is going to be a summer intern with us. So, yeah, so we're real excited about that. Brandy, of course.
Oh, that's
wonderful.
news for me too.
Oh, so
Hey.
sorry, I haven't told you that. Oh, by the way,
Yeah, I love that. Online surprises.
Yeah, they're coming in and learning how to run the board, and maybe have a little FaceTime on camera. So, yeah, just love the relationship.
So, Dr. Be Good, we've had some seniors graduate. We got some seniors getting ready to graduate. If you could, because I know you've got to go, if you can leave them with a word of advice on how to move through the pandemic into their next stage of life, what would that be?
No pressure.
There's a book written, but it boils down to a phrase: "Don't sweat the small stuff," and it's all small stuff.
Yes.
And my pandemic journey, actually my legacy journey, has taught me that it doesn't matter how much sleep you lose over an upcoming situation, you don't impact the outcome with your worry. And that's what I try to tell adults and kids both, right? Making sure that you stay focused and that you don't let worry eat you up over a situation that you don't have control over is the biggest gift that I can give anyone. And so, sometimes you have to live through tough situations to know how true that statement is. And my favorite statement that I've used more than any during the pandemic is, crisis doesn't create character, it reveals it.
Oh,
and
that's
we
great.
have seen staff come, just blossom and just be better versions of themselves. And then we've seen the opposite. And we can, we bring those examples to kids as well, that I'm sure they have seen adults and maybe some of their friends acting in ways that would not make us proud. And so, try to use situations to grow and learn from instead of to depress us and make us think all is bad with the world.
So there you go. Great advice. Dr. Good, thanks so
that's
much.
good
Of course,
stuff.
we've got a big show coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, we have a new format now. We're going to the 30 minutes for a couple of reasons. One is so that we can learn better how to chunk our segments, get them on YouTube and so forth. And if you want the whole thing on Spotify, but also because we're going to bring on a second show, a show about saving the world through health and wellness.
Love
And
it.
that is going to be starting later in July. So stand by, people, because we're going to have just a lot of information about how to stay not only physically healthy, but mentally healthy in this very insane world that we live in. So stand by for that.
Much needed show. And I think, that really hits a lot of people of all ages, all socioeconomic backgrounds. And this is just a way to better improve your health all the way around. And I can't wait.
All right, Dr. Good, I'm kicking you off. Get out of here.
We
Dr.
love you.
Good.
Go. I think you've got like
I
a
have to
senator
go.
to talk
I'm going
to.
to go sit down right now with Senator Cornyn.
There you go.
There you go.
I love it.
All
I
right.
love it. Have
There
a
you
great
go.
one.
Our very
We
own
love you,
Ask
Dr.
Be Good. All right. So What a great show, Kathy.
Oh my gosh. I mean, just to sit here and hang out and be part of this and all the, all the legacy and, and here's the thing with the Dick Howser trophy and with the Brooks Wallace Award that strikes me year after year. And, just so honored to even be able to sit here and listen to these folks. It's not just, of course, no duh. They were phenomenal baseball players. It is what it is. I mean, you've got statistics that just can't be touched. Just amazing talent. But it's the character of each of the men,
right, that
I always take away. And I was watching. Larry kind of got a little choked up. You could tell as he was talking about his brother, and the same with Dick's daughter. With Janet, she was just. They're so passionate about this because these are such great men to honor year after year. And JP, with so much of the junk going on out there in this world, to know that you still have great legacies like Brooks, like Dick, that people can live up to, and you've got a plethora of young men to choose from.
Yes, I mean,
it gives you hope.
That's a small word even for what they have. I mean, the talent in college baseball.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah. And then, because I have seen Jana and her sister post her pictures and stuff and talk about horses. I didn't know how deep her sister is in this.
So they're big in the equestrian world.
Well, she's invented some safety
Jana's sister just invented this? Okay.
They have a company out there where they've put out some product that they've invented that helps with safety and advancement of the sport. Olympians are coming to them.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
can't wait to hear all about that.
And so I'm looking forward to that show down the road where we bring them on and talk about what her company is doing, what some of the inventions are, and some of the advances in the equestrian world. It was funny, we were talking last night, and I told Jana, I jumped off into the deep end and bought a 34-acre horse ranch. And she knows exactly where all that's at. She goes, oh, yeah, it's horse country out there. And Pilot Point and Tioga and Aubrey and awesome. Krugerville and Collinsville and all that. So nice conversation. Yeah. Very nice family. And, I love
just
that.
Both just amazing, Jana is so humble, Larry's so humble, and you can just see it's a family thing. These are just really good salt of the earth people, and what a blessing for us to be able to have them on the show year after year after year, and especially to have them back on the show because, of course, last year we missed it. There weren't enough stats in either world to be able to have the awards, and so just so great to get back to that. It just feels good.
Well, and what I love about, on the other side, about what Larry brings to the table, it's this very humbling hometown hero that we have.
Yeah.
That life was shortened
way too soon. Too soon.
Yeah. Did amazing things locally in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then out at Texas Tech, played for the Texas Rangers for 2.5 years. I mean, and then decided I want to go back to college baseball,
which I love.
I do
which
too.
Just kind of says everything about his character and who he was as a person.
Absolutely,
just good stuff.
So on Friday, Kathy,
what a fun
forget,
50th show.
Remember, I got a big. I'm gonna shocker you now, but I already told you, but you've forgotten. Don't forget, Friday I'm out. I'm back in Houston. I'm in Houston.
Oh,
remember, I'm back in Houston again.
Back in the saddle again.
Back in the saddle
Good
again.
times.
So Grogu and you.
And the unicorn.
And
I know you don't recognize the unicorn, but happy 50th. This is our 50th show in our new studio. Super excited. Want to give a shout out to Charles Gura, who helped us. Who we wouldn't have made it to 50 if he wouldn't have been there from the beginning, building a system for us and getting us hooked up with the right things. And we continue to grow and add new shows, and it's just. What fun.
Well, and there's a lot of people to say thank you to, right?
Oh, my goodness,
First of all, Venture X, Leon Chastain and his family
love
here.
Love y'all, yeah.
Getting us here, Charles Gura making that connection. Yep. Chance, can't leave Chance out.
Yep, Chance was a great person getting us started. We've had Nathaniel and
Che
Chambriel.
Guevara over here. No, Che Guevara.
And Chambriel has been a huge help. And, Corley, we've just had so many folks. And then the crew, because the crew has really helped us to grow this. From the crew, we've developed some new shows and are developing some new shows. And just having a blast. Hadn't even been a year yet. Kind of crazy.
And the people that have taken a chance with us, because it's been a bumpy road. Jeremy Rosenthal and his law firm.
Love them,
Dr.
Good.
Dr. Be Good. Your brother with
Yep,
this pink
this
cloud.
pink cloud, yeah.
Voyager's Path, which came back online yesterday.
And Lisa Chastain.
Lisa
and,
Chastain,
you know,
and what you guys have got.
Christian Women's Ministry, yeah.
That's right. And then also, we can't forget Crystal.
Oh yeah,
And all the fun we had
oh
with
my
that,
gosh!
and
And
so-
they'll eventually be back on. It's fundraising has just been kind of tough during this time. Just good stuff. Just
Good
real
stuff.
good stuff.
Chambrielle, wherever she's at.
Yep, mentioned her. Yeah, Bree the intern.
So there we go.
just
So
good stuff.
50
Appreciate
shows
it.
in the book, and time to go to bed now.
And we're taking a nap.
Oh, yeah.
No, we've
So
got
the
another,
music
we've
should
got
be
another
playing.
show after this.
The music, do we?
Yeah,
Wednesday.
private sector, which as a matter of fact, we're doing private sector companies now.
Right.
Actually not broadcasting them through the network. They take the material, they put it out on their own social media, on their websites. Usually, heck, you were part of a big client presentation for a huge ISD last week. So if you're a private company and you want to talk to us about how you can use the studio and our technology
and we produce
here.
you and correct you and help
we
you out.
produce you and coach you, and it's good stuff. And we're having a good time with that. So
We are.
uh,
All right.
yeah.
Everybody have a blessed day.
Love y'all.
Enjoy
Have a
Kathy
blessed
on
one.
Friday. I'll be in Houston.
I'll update you on my mom, who, God bless her, when she got out of the wheelchair yesterday after her surgery, which it went well, and we're praying today that when they take that patch off that she can see again. God bless her, she started to get in the wrong car yesterday.
Oh,
The
no.
gentleman in the car goes, "I don't think you belong to me." It was so like, yeah, we're getting the left eye done next. So
Your poor
it's
mom.
all good.
Your poor mom.
I told her I said, I've got to tell that story on the air. She's like, but explain to them that it was a different shade of car, and so it kind of looked like the same. Oh, okay, Mom.
And there you go. And so we want you to keep praying, by golly.
Yeah, and thank
Because
y'all for
there's
the
more
prayers.
surgeries
God
coming.
bless you, and thank you for the prayers.
So Coach says we're going to go live on Friday from Jamaica Beach.
Oh,
Because I could drive down to his place if I didn't have to work.
how cool would that be? You could do truancy out at the ocean.
Boy, wouldn't that be funny? Zoom in. JP, what's that in the background? That would be the ocean.
Yes. So good times.
Oh.
No, not a fake background. The real
The
ocean.
real ocean. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Love y'all.
Coach Quigley, thanks
God
for
bless
producing
you.
today's show
Yes,
with
yes,
Jana
yes.
and with Larry Wallace. All right, everybody have a blessed day. We'll see you on the flip side.